On this episode of Game Watch, we take a look at Diablo 3's newly announced expansion, Reaper of Souls. With Diablo 3 only just recently releasing its console version that has received rave reviews across the board, it sparked a new light at the end of the tunnel. Alongside the removal of the auction house and inclusion of Loot 2.0, this could be the change the game needs to prove it can be much, much more. Hold on to your loot and keep your potions on the right hotkey for today. It's Game Watch, Diablo 3, Reaper of Souls. Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls features a fifth act within the story after Diablo was defeated. Tyrael, alongside the help of the Haradrims, decide to hide away the stone that held Diablo's dark spirit within the depths of a tomb, or a temple, or something like that. Turns out that wasn't such a good idea, and the former Angel of Wisdom, or the Angel of Death, Malthael, has returned to reclaim the soul for himself. Needless to say, Tyrael is powerless to stop him, calls for the Nephilim, and there you have your story. In short, new bad guy wants to do bad things, therefore you must kill things to go stop the bad guy from doing bad things. Got it? Good. Now let's talk about the brand new class that will be available when Reaper of Souls comes out. The class is called the Crusader, that is of course part of a crusade headed to the east after the Paladins decided to move west hundreds of years ago. With the Crusaders only learning of this newfound evil that has been devastating the land, they decide to do whatever it takes to stop them. The Crusader has a striking close resemblance to the Warhammer 40,000 Black Templars, but only in a medieval fantasy rather than, well, 40,000 years into the future with big-ass bolters, chaplains, chainswords, jump jets, undying love for the Emperor, and... Oh, wait, sorry, I seem to have lost track of things. Where were we? Oh, yes. Crusader. Right. That's it. The Crusader is a mixture of the Spartan's will to fight, a Paladin's holy abilities, and an armored tank. So therefore, we no longer have to wonder why barbarians were doing the tanking to begin with. They feature mid-range to melee-style combat abilities, a lot of which use their own shield to deal the damage required. Many of their abilities are also area of effect style, such as Fist of the Heavens, which casts lightning all around your character. There's also Falling Sword, which has you leap on top of your enemies, and Consecration, that burns your victims with holy fire while healing you and your allies inside the circle. Sadly, that's pretty much all we know about what's been revealed of the Crusaders. So let's talk about the removal of the auction house and Loot 2.0. So yeah, Blizzard has come out and said that as of March 18th, 2014, the auction house shall no longer exist. Sure, that's a while away, but what it now allows for is players will actually be able to play the game properly the way it was meant to be played. This time around being able to get the items they need by murdering enemies rather than having to resort to the auction house because the game forced you to with the original loot system. Now with Loot 2.0, you'll be getting less loot, but more good items. That means less filling up your pockets with garbage and more picking up shiny stuff, which is a much needed improvement. On top of this, players fighting certain bosses for their first time on their playthrough will receive a 100% dropped class-specific legendary item, which means finally, we'll get more than just one legendary after 40 hours of playing. This was something that was also much needed, and finally, by the time Reaper of Souls launches, players will be able to unleash their true loot hoarding side of themselves. I would also like to mention though, that you can already do pretty much most of that stuff on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 version, so you don't really have to wait right now if you have those consoles. In all, Reaper of Souls looks like it's just what Diablo 3 needs to get itself right back up on its own 2 feet again. Unfortunately, this doesn't mean that the DRM is going away, but with the removal of the auction house, which made the game have to have DRM in the first place, could mean that it too could be removed in the future. Which comes to my question. Do you think you're going to be playing Diablo 3 once again with the new improvements? Or will you be ignoring it for the rest of eternity? Be sure to let me know in the comments below. But that's all the time I have for now. I'm Acabane101. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time on Game Watch.